Yo, what up YouTube? Welcome back to the Nasty Nate channel. Check out the 2500 Suburban, looking nasty right here in the road, and it hasn't moved yet because we still need to fix it. So, got a coolant temp sensor from Ryan you saw in the last video. Super cool of him giving me that off of a harness that he had actually for a 6-liter LQ4 that he is building for a car. But anyway, that's the first thing I want to do is replace the coolant temp sensor on this thing, because we've had 2 codes for the coolant temp sensor. I will put those on the screen. I forget the numbers, the P0 numbers. And then we also had an alternator code. So we had a problem with this connector on the old coolant temp sensor, so I think I should just replace it anyway. And maybe I should go get a new one. I don't know. If we can't figure this out, I'll go get a new one. But I want to see if this fixes the problem first. So let's do that. It's just a 3/4 inch wrench, and it's right here on the head on the driver's side. Shouldn't be too bad to take off. All right, guys, got the new one in there, and I did not have any Teflon tape. So if this solves the issue, I'll take that back out and wrap it in Teflon tape. We'll probably lose a little coolant when it gets up to temp or something like that, but let's see if she starts up. If not, we're gonna have to possibly look at the alternator. Let's see what happens here. Fired up just fine. I think we solved the issue. Oh. I forgot to plug a spark plug wire back in. That might help it run a little better. Old one had a destroyed connector. That might have been the issue. Doesn't seem to be running weird or anything. So the coolant temp sensor might have just solved our issue. I think it did. I'm gonna go drive around the block. We made it around the block. I'm just gonna park it in my driveway for the time being, just because I still need to go get plates for this thing. Don't want it in the street. And we'll probably do some more test driving before I really trust it. But if that was the case, that was a super easy fix. I do want to drive this thing a little more because we got an alternator code. So I might get an alternator for it. Actually, Ryan gave me one of those too, so might throw that on. I want to test it and kind of drive it around and see if it does anything weird again, because that seemed like an easy fix. Okay, it's starting to run kind of rough. Yeah, hear it, and it's idling pretty low. No codes though, and I'm just wondering if that's like an alternator issue or what. Man, it's like the whole thing is shaking. I mean, it doesn't really sound bad. It just seems like it's running really rough. Okay, now we got a flashing check engine light. It does let me rev it up. I'm gonna plug in the scanner. So I ran the codes, and I actually took a picture, so we're looking at my phone here. It's a P0174 code, P0300, and P0622. So I'm going to look that up right now and get back to it. So P0174 is system 2 lean, which I believe is measured through the O2 sensors, so that's a possible problem. The P0300 code is a random or multiple cylinder misfire, and that would make sense because this thing was about to jump off the ground. Kind of lines up with the system too lean though, so let's look up the next code. So this looks like the P0622 is related to the alternator. All right guys, well, we just killed the battery. So I either need to charge this thing or get a new battery or get an alternator or all three. Okay guys, here we are. It's 10 p.m. I just walked outside to take my trash out around the corner and realized it's really warm out. It's 52 degrees right now in Ohio on December 22nd, 23rd. We got an alternator sitting here, and the next week is gonna be like 17. So I think I'm about to put this thing on because I hate working on stuff like this in the cold. New alternator is on, and now I need a new hose clamp for this custom intake because it just like destroyed itself when I tried to put it back together. It's probably really hard to see, but guys, if you have a 2500 Suburban with a 6-liter in it, don't put an intake on it just because Banks Power says it makes 5 more horsepower. That is ridiculous, dude. It's actually the next day. I had the charger plugged in for the Suburban all night. Actually all day and all night, so hopefully that's charged up. I do want to show you guys how bad the truck is from snow drifting yesterday. Just wheels are destroyed from all the salt. I mean, look at all the salt on the frame. We got to get this thing washed ASAP. That'll be later today. Neighbors' dogs are so annoying. So it is charged. Yesterday the light for charging was on, and now it's charged, and this battery tender just keeps voltage stored in the battery. It's kind of like a trickle charger, but that means this thing's ready to fire up, so let's see what happens. Hopefully the key's in this thing. Oh yeah, it is. I don't know why the brights go on for some reason. Let's see what happens. All right, we are running, and it sounds like it's running fine. It's idling at, you know, just over 1,000 RPMs, but it is pretty cold out. Hopefully the alternator fixed our issue. So this thing's been running for, I don't know, 5 minutes, and so far it seems like it's idling fine. We're not getting the weird misfire and the whole thing shaking like it was. And it sounds healthy. Sounds like a healthy 6.0. That's super awesome. Hopefully we just fixed the problem. If that's the case, this was easy. So now we have like a normal idle, just under 1,000, maybe 800 RPMs, and so far no issues. And oh, nice, our voltage gauge over here is reading just over 14. So before we were reading between 12 and 14. So maybe we did have a problem with the alternator. Just the whole drive back, it was kind of fading in and out. So maybe that was the issue. If that was the issue, I'm super stoked. Hopefully that's what's up. She's been running for like 20 minutes and it seems like everything's good. Almost up to temp. Battery gauge is still above 14 and we're idling at like a normal RPM now. So super stoked on that. I think we just found the issue. So if you are getting like a ton of, I'll go this way. If you're getting a ton of weird codes and it's got a misfire and stuff like that, most likely going to be your alternator. That's what I thought, because it's just going to be throwing like weird voltages to all the sensors, and then it's going to throw a bunch of codes. We're making some power steering noise because this thing pours power steering fluid. That's going to be a fix in one of these videos. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but next couple videos, or couple, should say, I don't know, about a week or so, I'm going to be throwing on the 24s onto the Suburban. It's going to look absolutely nasty. Make sure you stay tuned to Nasty Nate for that. Super glad we fixed the Suburban, and stay tuned.